Not gonna lie. Where are we here? The usher who hands Maureen and Phil the masks was Paulette Patterson, who won an MTV contest to get that role. I thought that was
well
kind of
done,
interesting.
you.
Yeah, you got to be in Scream 2. After all the issues he went through on the first Scream, Wes tried the old tradition of manipulating the MPAA by sending them versions of the film that had been edited to focus and enhance the gore and violence present beyond what he actually was planning on using in the film, including reusing a clip of Omar Epps' character getting stabbed. He reused it like 4 or 5 times of getting stabbed in the head, like just repeatedly. And they're like, oh my god, don't do that.
Just the once.
Yeah. An extended scene that showed like Randy getting like his throat slashed and like just extended scenes of blood splurting out of it, which he clearly had no intention of using in the movie. So then when he cut it the way he wanted, he sent it to the MPA and they're like, oh yeah, that's an R. So he's like, well,
you know what I love about that sometimes? That it goes the other way.
Yeah.
And you're not expecting it, and then they go, oh no, that's fine. And you're like, what do you mean that's fine?
Well,
oh god,
they usually tend to still do the cuts that they intended. I don't think they ever. I mean, it rarely happens, but occasionally they will get a regular R rating, and they're like, that's not what we intended to do.
Oops.
And like, oh, here's the more edited version. Just give us our R, and we'll move on. Originally scheduled to open alongside Tomorrow Never Dies and Titanic, both blockbusters shifted their dates. No shit.
Huh.
To not be pitted against Scream. So, Titanic, the second highest grossing film of all time, shied away from Scream.
Someone was afraid of Ghostface.
This is true. That is basically it. That's all I have, aside from the sorority party that happens later on when they're talking about like how all they do is give blowjobs and Randy comes back suspiciously, I'm guessing, getting a blowjob. Matthew Lillard is in that scene.
Yep.
Stu's in the scene, just because.
Because he was probably there one day, like, checking out the scenes.
There was a girl he was dating. I couldn't find out who.
What's with this guy always being on these things because of some of these dating?
I mean, that's Matthew Lillard. Guess he's a ladies' man. I don't know.
So, we begin Scream 2 with Stab.
Yep.
A movie based on the Woodsboro murders by Gale Weathers. Mm-hmm. We get filmed in glorious Stab-O-Vision. Mm-hmm. We get college students Phil and Maureen, Omar Epps and Jada Pinkett, and she is not having it.
No.
She's not like horror movies.
No.
There is a Sandy Bullock movie playing down the street that we can definitely go see that is going to be better than this.
I do enjoy the conversation because she's talking about, like, you know, well, black folks don't do well in these movies and everything like that. And he points out immediately, it's just like, well, Sandra Bullock's not exactly Miss Diversity. She's like, but that's not the point. I'm like, no, that is the point. But I just thought that was hilarious, that conversation.
Well, plus it's obviously being Scream.
Yes.
That whole conversation is very meta for what is about to happen.
Exactly. Which is the great point of, like, you know, A, if they had gone, they would have survived. And B, they didn't survive the movie. Yeah. So everyone... Fantastic job.
Everyone gets a Ghostface thing, and everyone gets these fake knives that glow green and stuff. And they go into the theater. Now, I have been...
It's a fucking party.
I have been to some premieres.
Yeah.
And some, like, opening nights for things.
Yeah.
No.
Just
no, it would not be pure anarchy.
There's 2 things wrong with this going on here.
Or popcorn's flying, people are chasing around each other, fake killing each other.
Yeah. So the 2 issues I have with this alone are, again, like you said, I've been to premieres. No one's ever like this, you know?
Even for, like, horror, you know what I mean? Like
especially horror. Actually, oddly enough, the more polite ones I've ever seen are horror movie premieres. It's very polite. Everyone's very calm and collected and everything like that. They're auteurs of the genre, trying to be taking it seriously. You know, it's more the superhero ones that are a little more raucous, but even they're not insane. And
they just hoot and holler and clap, but they're not popcorn everywhere.
Not at all. The other thing, I'm like, this is based on real murder. Would you be jumping around having a good time being like, yeah, we're about to see a movie based on the people that fucking died?
Doesn't a character point that out, like an extra?
Sort of, yeah.
Didn't this really happen?
Yeah, but they don't point it out of, like, why is everyone being such an asshole for real death? Like,
Well, it might be like a comment on
and it's supposedly
isn't society
only
awful?
yeah, but a lot, like not this awful. And again, this is only supposedly taking like a year or two after it happened. So this isn't like, like, oh, this happened 6 months, or not 6 months, like 6 years ago, 60 years ago. No, this happened supposedly a year back. So this world is just horrible.
Either way, Casey Becker is played by Heather Graham in the film, and there's a whole thing where she's getting naked, and Omar Epps' character pretty much just says, yeah, I have boner.
Well...
Boner alert!
I mean... I can't blame him. It's Heather Graham.
I know, but just like, you have to verbalize said...
No, you don't. I mean, clearly he's never had a girlfriend before.
Yeah, like, next to his girlfriend, he's like, yo...
Yeah. Look at this. I got this. I got this. And the white woman on screen made this happen, not you. That's the way to not get laid ever, my friend.
Not a good look.
No.
So he takes off to the washroom. And does not return.
No.
Goes in. He's going to take a leak. There's two guys taking a very long time at the urinals. Both in ghost face masks.
Like
both stop, look at each other, look back at him. He goes, cool, okay, stall it is. And then he hears some noises coming from the second stall. He hears
supposedly fucking.
Yeah, like some moaning, some...
And I guess he's already kind of half chubbed from Heather Graham, so I guess he's like, well, I need to investigate this. And I gotta tell you, I've been in a bathroom where this is happening. The last thing you want to do is investigate, alright? Because it's never...
I think the last thing you want to do is put your face, any part of your face, even if it's the side of your head, on a wall, in a stall, in a public bathroom.
I'm mildly a germaphobe, so the idea of doing anything near that is not happening. But my other question on this is, how the fuck did whichever Ghostface it is, whether it's Ola Fantastic or Aunt Jackie, how would you know that he's going to put his face on it? And where he would put his face on it? And when to stat? Like, the logic is gone. That is just the dumbest of dumb luck.
Yeah, because he's just like, huh? Is he checking on the other side? Like,
where do we think? Like, unless they got a camera stationed above to know.
Like he's just,
but even then, you've got a 1 in 1,000 chance of hitting the right spot with that thin ass blade. So, I don't know. That didn't ring true.
So, boom, right in the side of the head.
Yeah.
Phil goes down. He ain't getting up. First victim of the film. Phil returns to the theater.
Does he?
In mask. Which she doesn't question. He doesn't say anything.
No. I mean, the killer, I would assume, is Ola Fantastic, is wearing Phil's clothes.
Yeah.
So...
Or at least his jacket.
His jacket. Yeah. Well, no, I would assume it's the rest of his outfit. Or at least his pants, maybe. And she doesn't question it, the fact that he's not speaking anymore.
Yeah.
He was so vocal a minute ago, now he's just shutting up. So, wouldn't any woman just go, what the fuck's up with you? Why are you acting like an asshole? But
actually, now I'm remembering.
Okay.
It's when she went to go get popcorn. That's when the characters are like, didn't this actually happen a year ago? Like, this is a little messed up, so that's when it happened. So either way, she's just like, well, this is weird, you're not talking. Then she reaches down and she feels something wet, and she reaches up, and her hands are covered in blood. And she puts two and two together, like, well, this isn't good.
Yeah.
I'm going to get up and leave.
Nope.
And because it's so raucous and everyone is pretending to stab people, this guy could just get away with actually stabbing her several times. She climbs up on the stage and just, like only Jada Pinkett apparently can act. Apparently it didn't start in Gotham with her fucking over-the-top acting.
Can I take a minute to point this out? Jada Pinkett is capable of being a normal human. We saw it in the beginning of this movie. But somewhere...
She's pretty good in The Matrix, too.
Yeah. She can tone it down. But in this death scene, which she did work out with Wes Craven of, like, I want the most elaborate, craziest death scene that people will remember. And I'm like, well, yeah, they're going to remember it, but not for the reason you want. Because this harkens to, if you've ever watched Gotham, and she played a character called Fish Mooney. Thank fuck she's not on the show anymore. Her character on the show, like everyone else on the show, I mean, they exaggerate a little bit, but they still talk like
dramatic.
But they still talk like humans. She's doing Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Like, everyone else is just, like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Like, I mean, the kid from the OC who's playing Gordon puts on a Batman voice. It's a little weird, but, you go with it. But she is just like, and then Penguin is right in front of me. I'm like,
yeah.
What the fuck are you doing, lady?
Like, alas, poor York. I
yeah.
Ratio.
Like,
what are you doing?
It's just like, 'tis the east, and Juliet is the sun. Deny thy father and refuse thy treacherous moon. I did do Shakespeare in high school. But, what in the
Jada?
fuck? Like, Jada, tone it the fuck down.
You're making a Batman show. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then how does Wes, Jada, we're making a stabby movie. What do you, like A2, Ghostface? Like,
A2, yeah, like, it's so...
Because she literally reaches down and looks at the whole crowd.
Yeah.
And everyone has stopped. Everyone's taking off their ghost mask going, what the fuck going on?
Yeah.
Like, and then, boom, collapses.
People want to talk about Marion Cotillard's death in Dark Knight Rises. This, which was well over a decade before, almost 20 years before, was so much worse.
What's more over the top? Her death or Buddy's from a few weeks ago, the coach in Nightmare 2?
Oh, Jesus.
Maybe hers because it's a little bit more showy.
He no goddammit knowed before he got killed.
Yeah.
When he got killed, all he did was scream a bunch and then flop. She walks from her seat, and she was not in the front row, walks from her seat around people, climbs up onto the stage.
Being stabbed at least 4 times.
Yeah, like being stabbed in the gut, and she's bleeding out, climbs up, and literally is reaching out to no one, and it's just like, and then flops down. It is the most over-the-top death scene in anything, and I'm including like low-budget 70s exploitation flicks.
She does the double drop where you don't just flat out fall. You fall to your knees, then you go, and then you go again.
Yeah. It's so bad.
So they are both dead.
Mm-hmm.
Enter Scream title.
Scream 2. Drink for title.
Using really good Nick Cave in the Bad Seed song.
Yeah,
Red Right Hand.
That is I mean, they did it in the original, but like this was a cover of it. Like this was his cover of the song that was in the first movie, which is just fantastic.
Well, if you've ever seen Nick Cave,
yeah,
it's an interesting show.
It really is.
I've seen it.
I have not, but I've seen clips, and that's enough for me. I think
he's an odd fella.
Mm-hmm.
So we get Sydney at college.
Yep.
With her new bestie, Haley.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody not realizing, hey, it usually doesn't work out for her best friend, but...
somebody's got to be here. I mean, I would be that asshole who would be somebody's best friend and just be like, your last best friend died? I have to do it just for the shit of it.
So she's kind of like a tad insensitive about the whole thing.
She's a bitch.
Because Sid's fine, like, more or less, like, because she has caller ID now, so someone's, like, calling her,
like,
trying,
what's your favorite scary movie?
It's just like, well, you're so-and-so,
who are
number
you?
555.
Who are you? And it's like, she's got call display now, and you're this, and oh, damn it! No, sorry, enjoy the movie. Like, and I'm like, and my question on that is, I really hope she got a shit ton of money for signing the fucking waivers for that.
Because you think there would have to be.
You would have to. I mean, she seems to be unhappy that there's a movie, but she signed off on it. Because you couldn't do the movie without her, because it's mostly about her life.
So, do you have to? Isn't that not like...
I'm fairly certain you do have to. I'm fairly confident you have to.
Artistic license?
Put it this way. Considering what we saw in the Stab movie, which was literally a shot-for-shot remake of Scream, they definitely would have had to get her approval. So, yeah, she signed a waiver. I'm hoping she got all of the money.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Randy would do it for a cup of coffee and a credit in the movie, because that's Randy, but...
Well, he was mad about who got the role.
Who did get
He said
role?
It was nobody. He was like a nobody. Like, everyone else got these big actors.
He's like, at least you got David Schwimmer, and I got nobody, right?
Yeah, I got some guy that was in a commercial one.
Yeah, that's right.
And her friend Haley's basically just like, yeah, get over it.
It sounds like fucking Billy in the last movie with, like,
I'm like,
mom.
I'm sorry, my boyfriend murdered my best friend and several other people, along with another one of my friends.
Tried to kill me about 20 minutes after I fucked him.
So...
it's gonna take me a minute.
The immortal words of Randy later in this movie, fuck you!
I mean, seriously. Bitch.
And she's like, come to the party tonight. And she's like, no, I don't. Because she's trying to get her to pledge Delta Lambdas. And she's like, I'm not a sorority.